Don't f it up, man.
Yeah, don't f it up. All right.
Get out.
Get out.
Should we get closer?
Yeah, if you want to. I don't really mind. Yeah, let's get real
Smell
close.
nice.
Yeah, I mean, I did the workout this morning and didn't shower afterwards because we didn't have that much turnaround time, so I had to just spray myself as many times as possible.
I gotta say, yeah, you got quite a bit on there.
Take it. Team, this is Josh Bridges, 6 times games athlete.
Nailed it.
Hey.
That's it.
Yeah, I'm out of here. Winner.
Ex-Navy SEAL and a collegiate wrestler.
Yes. Yep.
That's pretty cool. So, do you like Justin Bieber?
No.
No? What do you listen to? What's your like go-to hype song?
I listen to a lot of classic rock, but I listen to a lot of things. I listen to Adele.
Nice.
I like Adele. Rolling in the Deep. I think that's one of my favorites.
So you're like not feeling a workout or anything. You're like, right, I'm just gonna pump this song on because this is the one song that gets me going.
No, yeah, I don't have a.
You don't have one?
No, I don't have one. I have the thought. I like listening to the thoughts in my head a little more than music.
Badass. Netflix, do you watch?
Sure do.
What are you watching at the moment? Or is there a series that you're like, team, you should watch this?
I was watching Homecoming on. It wasn't on Netflix though, but that was on Amazon. I was watching that series with Michael Johnson about elite athletes. I can't remember the name of it though. I just started it the other night. Michael Johnson was a 6-time Olympic. I don't remember how many times he won the Olympics, but he was a sprinter for the United States back in the early 2000s, 90s, I think, late 90s probably. And every international competition he raced at, he won a gold medal. Like he never lost. So, but he's doing this thing about like elite athletes, like what makes them tick, I guess, kind of thing. It was really cool.
Because we were talking about it. You love sports.
I love sports.
Anything that's got a competitive, a winner and loser, you like it.
Yes, fact.
Even bowling.
Even bowling.
Yeah.
Even ping pong.
Even ping pong.
I watch ping pong. I watch curling.
Dude, that ping pong stuff is crazy though.
Crazy.
When you watch him go, I'm like, God, this guy's nuts.
They move so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not. It's not.
I have my questions on here. That's why I'm finding.
No, this guy's on his phone texting.
I'm finding. These are my questions. People always say that in the things. They're like,
Unbelievable.
oh, he's always on his phone. I'm like,
Here's
the
on his phone
questions.
texting, looking at Instagram right now.
Middle school, we need some cue cards.
Yeah, cue cards. What's the first thing that comes to your head right now? Say it.
Kettlebells. So just looking at one.
So CrossFit. What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given? Someone came up to you, or there's one thing that ticks in your head, or a quote, or a phrase, and you're like, that stuck with me.
It was about my kids, actually. They said, don't ever wish for them to be in an age that they're not at the moment. Enjoy them where they're at in the moment, because it's going to go by fast. And so don't wish that like they were older so you could do other things with them.
Nice.
Yeah.
We're
Serious.
a family channel here.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I like it.
Went
That's
very
incredible.
serious, very fast.
You've obviously traveled around the world, like being a Navy SEAL. You've done it with CrossFit and everything else like that. You've probably done a lot of cool stuff. What is on your bucket list? Do you have anything left on your bucket list?
I do. I want to do an Ironman, and I would like to. Most of them are all like really like physical challenges for myself. Doing an Ironman without training for it, and then maybe biking from like the Mexican border to Canada border, something like that, like on a road bike. Something
If you
like
do that, I'll do it. I'll train for that too.
Really?
Yeah, I'll come with you.
All right, let's do it.
Jazz can be like the film crew in the car next to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't go bike.
Yeah.
I'll just drive next to you.
What was your first car?
It was a 91 or 93 Ford Probe, red Ford Probe.
Any stories with it? Did it survive? Did you just sell it on?
That thing was awesome. I paid like $2,000 for it, and yeah, it lasted me through high school into college, and then I finally sold it and got a truck or something like that.
Do you have a dream car, or are you not a car man?
I'm not a super big car guy. If I did have a dream car, it would be a Cobra 427. You ever seen the movie You know what that is? First off, I don't want to.
No, I don't know.
Okay.
But I will.
I was like, you ever
Blank
seen the movie,
look.
You ever seen the movie Bad Boys?
Yes.
You know the black car with the racing straps? He doesn't have a hood, the little fast one that wrecks at the end. It's a Cobra 427.
I'll insert a
Yeah.
photo. People will understand. If you're like me and still don't know. What's the worst job you've ever had? Have you had a bad job?
Lots of them. Worst one had to be I was a telemarketer for the phone company. So I called you and asked if you wanted to buy call waiting and call forwarding, and you probably don't even know what that is because you're so young.
Nope. Yeah.
Call right.
Yeah.
When you literally had to call people who had landlines and be like, would you like caller ID or call forwarding or call waiting on your phone? You like. Do you know what a telemarketer is?
Yes, I know what a telemarketer is.
Right, making sure.
So your timeline, obviously you did that as a job, and then how many years was it, or why did you get into kind of like the Navy SEALs? What clicked for you then and went, that's what I want to do?
So I had a buddy. I was a loan officer in the mortgage industry, where like when you go to buy a house, like I was the guy who got you the loan, and he was like, hey, this guy was like, I'm gonna go to be a Navy SEAL, and I also. And this is how they train. They do CrossFit. So the same guy that got me into the Navy was the same guy who got me to CrossFit.
What's his name? Shout him out.
Mike Singer.
You legend. You created us a legend.
Big shout out to Mike Singer. Good dude. Yeah.
So then you started doing CrossFit, and how long were you doing CrossFit before you then?
So I started doing CrossFit January 2005. Joined the Navy in March of 07. And then first year I could compete because of like my schedule with like deployments and training and everything was 2011.
And you finished second.
I finished second that year, yes. Look at that. Look at he's all over it.
Yeah.
All over it. Right behind.
Say I'm not a hardcore fan, but I'm a hardcore fan. I'm sitting fan.
What's the craziest Navy SEAL story you've got?
Yeah, what's the craziest story that you have? Obviously, like you probably that you're allowed to tell us that you haven't told before, because I'm sure like you've been interviewed probably numerous times, and you probably have the same story for
No,
different
you're my
people.
first. This is
Oh,
great.
really?
Yeah.
I've never been interviewed before.
This is amazing. It's so weird.
What's the story that you've not told that you're like, man, that's actually pretty cool, and I feel like a badass for doing it. Big yourself up.
Let me see.
You just told us about the swim with the sharks.
Yeah, some of the sharks. That wasn't. That was.
I mean, I
fun.
thought it was pretty badass. I wouldn't have done it. Pitch black, middle of the night,
That
1,200 meter
was
swim.
Tuesday is what that was.
Yeah, it was just a Tuesday.
Yeah.
1,200 meter swim in the dark.
Anytime we did anything diving was really cool, because it was that nighttime and you're like 20 foot underwater, and you know like you basically have like nobody like there's nothing showing you where you're at. Like you don't see bubbles or anything like that. So yeah, it's like. The diving stuff, like you feel like a Navy SEAL whenever you did it. And so we did some really cool ones where we were like 4-hour dives, hitting, fake targets and training and stuff like that. It wasn't real, it was always training, but some of those were really cool. Like there was this one where, so if there was like a boat or a ship or something like that coming, they'd have to drop some basically like flares into the water to make sure so you came up and made sure you were safe and not underneath the boats, because the boats, some of the big ships have suctions underneath them, and then like you could literally get like sucked up underneath the boat and would probably die. And so I remember like being in the water and hearing the little noises come up and be like, okay, so we got to go up, and looking over, and there was this, like it was either a destroyer or a cruiser, like a pretty good sized ship. Like literally like, I don't know, 150, maybe 200 yards across the bay. And I was like, it was pretty crazy. I was like, man, that's nuts. Like it looked like a mountain at nighttime in the water. So that was pretty crazy.
That was like me with the Waterpalooza swim.
Yeah,
really.
I could see it, yeah.
Just looking up at the bay and being like, oh God, take me back.
That's how you link that as like
Yeah,
such a
it's just I'm just like not badass, not badass. I was so emotional at the end of that swim. It was incredible. I'm not badass. This is badass. Do you cook?
I do. I cook.
What's your thing to cook? If someone was coming around and you were going to impress them,
I can cook a pretty good tri-tip, sweet potato, and like asparagus.
you'd have Shane all around here in no time.
It's like one of my favorite
He is
meals.
the biggest
I got
tri-tip fan.
my chef right here, man.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
You're the chef.
he's the chef.
Oh, nice. I love it.
But yeah, like I got a Traeger grill out there, which is a smoker, and man, you can smoke some meat on that thing. It's pretty good.
What's the funniest thing that's happened to you at the games? We've had, Khalifa said he went on one and he pissed himself whilst going around. We've had people sitting next to each other and passing out, falling in ice buckets, not going upstairs. What thing sticks in your head that you went, whew, that was pretty funny? Maybe I shouldn't tell that story. But I'm gonna tell it anyway.
Trying to think. funniest thing. There was one where it was like, which isn't really like super funny, but like I thought it was actually really funny in the moment where we were literally on the line and it was on Sunday of 2014 and it was before that lunge GHD handstand walk workout and like I'm sitting there and I'm pretty sure my foot was over the line like before we started and Rich looked over and he's like, hey, foot's over the line. And I was like, damn it. It was funny in the moment. But yeah, I can't think of like something actually like funny.
I think it was in 2020. It was before you had the whole facial hair thing, and it was when they put you like underground, took your phones away, and they're like announcing workouts. There was, I don't remember what it was, but you were standing there in front of all the athletes just telling jokes.
Oh yeah, that's a big
There was
part.
one
This
where
is my time to shine.
yeah, there was one. I know exactly what you're talking about. It was 2014, and it was Kalipa, and they actually searched us to make sure that we didn't have our phones on us when they put us into into like whatever they call it. I can't even think of the term right now.
Holding.
Yeah, holding. Wherever they put us into holding, and I was like, and they were searching Kalipa. They were there patting him down, and I was like, you better check way up there, man. Get in there, DP. I know he's got a cell phone. He told me he did. And Kalipa looked at me like, what are you talking about?
But that's kind of the banter aside that like people love you for.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that stuff is just like I'm having such a great time when I'm there. Like I'm typically not super stressed out and just relaxed and exactly try to get in people's heads.
Are you the joker behind the scenes there?
For sure.
Like when you're there and everyone else is around and like headphones on, super
Yeah.
focused, you're like, right, who can I pick on?
Exactly. That's exactly. I think like watching Arnold in Pumping Iron, you know, when he was giving like Lou Ferrigno and those guys all the trouble, I loved it. I was like, I want to be that guy.
I love it.
Yeah.
Do you have a joke? You're a dad. You're a dad. Come on, you got a dad joke somewhere in there.
Dad joke.
2 elephants fall off a cliff. Boom. That's it. That's Jazz's one. Yeah.
What's long orange and wears diapers? A baby carrot. There it is.
There it is, team.
That's a dad joke right there.
Smash that like button if you did enjoy that joke right there.
It's a friendly joke right there.
Yeah.
Do you eat pizza?
Oh yeah.
Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Yes.
Right. It's like we need to start a tally of this because there's people that are yes and no and it's all over the place.
Oh, people,
People get offended.
Yeah. Like I know I'll probably lose followers because of this. Yeah. Way to go.
All the comments.
Yeah.
Who do you want to meet? You know, like if you could meet anyone in the world right now, like for me it'd be The Rock. Who would you want to meet?
George W. Bush. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of like presidents. I think that's such a.
You're the biggest fan that you name your dogs after them.
Yeah, right. I mean, every dog's after a president so far.
So soon we're going to have Trump around. Can't say that on the blog. Mini Trump running around.
Another again, boom! You just lost followers.
Yeah, this vlog has just completely ruined my career.
Yeah, you should have come here, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, George W. Bush, I think would be a really cool sit-down conversation to have. Like, he went through, as our president, like going through like 9/11, like that's such a crazy thing, and so many presidents don't have to deal with something like that, and he did, and like I just love to like sit down and talk.
Pick his brains.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to pick his brains or just like hang out with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See what he was like.
Yeah.
What's that Netflix series, Craig?
You get stranded on a desert island for the rest of your life. You can take 3 games athletes with you. Who do you take? And why?
3 games athletes on it.
Because every time we've asked this question to games athletes, you are the answer most of the time. They're like, I'd take Josh Bridges because he would save me. So who would you take?
I would take. Gosh, it's got to be games athletes.
Yep.
I'd take Rich and Dan because they're my buddies.
Yep. Who's funnier?
Depends like on the situation. Yeah, Dan's pretty funny.
Sitting on the fence.
Rich is fun. They're both funny.
Yeah, no.
Like and when we're together, we have a great time. I think that's why we do the good dude stuff.
Yeah.
Last one.
It's a hard question.
It is a tough question. Yeah.
It can be for anything. It can be for survival. It can just be
For a good time,
yeah.
yes.
It can be for anything.
Yeah. I don't know. Exactly. Should you bring like a female too? Yeah, I don't know. Like just a bunch of dudes hanging out on an island.
That's true. That's what it could end up happening.
Yeah, right. That could be rough. I'll say Ben Smith, just because he's a good dude. I like Ben. Ben's a great guy. He's always fun. He just kind of like hangs out and, But he actually, the last few years, he's come alive. He's like kind of showed a little bit more. Like before, the first few years, man, that dude was so quiet, just like super nice guy, but just real quiet. And last few years, he's really come out of his shell.
I love that when people just start doing that.
Yeah.
Do you use emojis?
No.
Not at all? Yeah, he didn't send me one when I was messaging him.
Yeah, no, I kept getting your emojis. I was like, this guy likes emojis.
Yeah, I love emojis. Usually someone has used emoji, but you don't use emojis, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny
It's
when
so good.
if I'm talking to someone and they don't use like exclamation points or like emojis, I'm like, they're mad at me for sure.
Yeah, they
It's like,
hate me.
I'm so used to it now,
Yeah.
like especially with like the exclamation points. Like even if it's just like on my way, if it's like no exclamation point, they're like they're coming here to yell at me or something. I don't know what's
They don't
gonna
like
go
me.
on.
What did I do?
Yeah.
What is your favourite thing to do other than CrossFit or be competitive?
I hang out with my kids, coach them in sports.
Yeah. 2 baseball players.
That's right. And wrestlers.
Wrestlers.
Yeah.
There was a photo recently that like melted Jazz's heart. I posted it, and it was when your kid was crying.
Yeah, I
at
was
the
crying.
thing.
Yeah. That's the thing about Little League wrestling or, youth wrestling. Like, it's very easy to tell who's winning and losing in a match because the losing kid is crying and the winning kid is not. And so, yeah, my son, he lost his first match that day, and and I've never seen a 6-year-old that hated losing more than he hates losing more than I do.
You're breeding competitors.
I'm breeding him, man. And it's like, and he was really upset. So I just had to have that talk with him, right? Like, losing's a part of the sports and it's how we grow. And yeah, someone captured it, so it was good.
Yeah, Jazz was really like, oh.
Yeah, that's one of the best plays I've ever read. I loved it. I screenshot it. Like, I'm keeping that one. That's really cute.
Did you tell him just to keep paying the man?
That's exactly.
Where did that come from, paying the man?
So pay the man's from the military.
Yeah.
So before you do anything, you get in a little trouble or something. Yeah, all right, you're gonna pay the man. You're gonna. It was more so like you're in trouble. So you're gonna pay the man. Like if you do something like that. Where I kind of took it when I got into CrossFit, and it was more like you're gonna pay the man because you don't own your fitness, right? You rent it, and so if you want to keep it, you have to go in and pay the man every day. So that's kind of where it came from.
It's like one of the main hashtags along with hard work pays off.
I know, right?
2 of them.
So it took off. I think I was rowing one day, and I was just hashtag pay the man, and from there.
That's like us. I just said sick content one time because the content was terrible.
Yeah.
And then from ever since then, every time there's something terrible, I just say sick content, and people just love it. Just have fun with it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Speaking about your competitive days or whatever, did you ever doubt yourself? People look at you as this hardcore, ex-Navy SEAL badass. Mm. What goes through your head before you went on the floor, and did you ever doubt yourself? Did you ever have those times where you're like, what am I doing? Or
I think one of the only times I've ever had doubts was 2015 regionals, which ended up being when I didn't qualify for the games that year, and so, excuse me,
get it?
I know, right? And so that year, I just didn't train enough. I didn't go into the gym enough. I took way too many nights off, and I was like, I'm good. I relied on past accomplishments instead of realizing that every year things were getting harder, things were getting tougher, and going into regionals, I was like, I don't think I'm gonna make it, and I didn't. And so something since then, before then though, I never had any issues like that. I was always very confident, and my goal was always to win the games, and I always thought I could do it. And so I learned a lot from that year, and it was, I'm glad it happened. I needed it to happen, and so. But yeah, that was the one time where I, definitely had some doubts.
Yeah, I think a lot of time it comes down to just work.
Right.
Sometimes when you work and you've put in enough work, you don't need to doubt yourself.
Exactly.
Because you're I've done it.
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas when you haven't, you realize you haven't, and then you're like, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Someone asked me what were you thinking? What did it feel like what when you went? And I was I felt like I was right before regionals, I felt like I was cramming for a test that I had the night before. Yeah. My whole training, the workouts came out and I was like, oh wow, I needed to work on all of that, and I didn't. And so I tried to cram for a test, and then I went in very having my doubts because I knew that I hadn't put in the work that I needed to.
And then that just gave you a reality check, and then you came back the next year and crushed it anyway.
For sure, yes, definitely, yeah.
You were apparently the oldest and shortest man on the field, yet you still finished 12th.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Was it 12th?
I don't know, 16th?
Something
15th?
like, yeah, I think
it was 12th, somewhere where it was
12th
very
or,
respectable.
It was 12th or 13th, because that was actually the first year where I wasn't in the final heat, in the final workout, and I was really upset about that, but...
That's the competitive nature of you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And why you're a badass. Here's my question to you, actually. When you're going through a longer workout, a grind,
mm-hmm.
what ticks through your head? What keeps you just putting one step in front of the other?
A lot of times it's I'm not thinking. Typically when I get into the zone where I'm not thinking, all I'm thinking about is the exercise at hand, that's what helps me. Like I don't think about like how far I have to go. I don't think about the next exercise that I have to get to. I literally think about like the rep I'm on.
Yeah.
And when I do that, like that's when I get into my zone and I can just kind of keep going.
If you could do one event again from the games, what would it be?
That is a phenomenal question. The entire 2018 games with a good knee.
Nice.
Yeah.
And where did the celebrations come from? Do you just, is that just you? That's just raw emotion.
There's nothing scripted about that. That's all raw emotion. Like I don't know. I get this surge of adrenaline at, like right at the end of a workout if I'm doing really well, and that just comes out. Like I've never like planned any of that or nothing of that is orchestrated. It's all just like comes out and I can't control it.
Some of the coolest moments ever created.
I appreciate that.
I love it.
Yeah.
What's your plans now? Obviously with your knee and stuff.
Yeah.
That's quite interesting for people to understand. Obviously you've had your knee operated on.
Yeah. They had a one of two possible surgeries, and so 4 months we'll see if we want to do the second one or not, and then the plan is to come back and go after it again. So whether that be individual or on a team, we'll see. And also I have kind of like a really cool announcement, but I don't know if I want to do it yet.
Chris Hinshaw said that you're working on a really cool project.
Yeah.
He was like, I don't know if you're allowed to tell you or not.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold that one in for
Stay tuned.
to make sure it's gonna happen before I like get anything like going on. But yeah, me and Chris is gonna help me if we do it, so it's gonna be really cool.
Badass.
Yeah,
Team, there's plenty more stuff to come.
definitely.
I love it. Awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, of course.
That was pretty good.
Did you have fun?
Yeah, man, that was
Yeah.
I had so much fun.
That was a fun interview. I hope you did enjoy it. We just had a laugh. Didn't have a joke. Oh no, you did have a joke.
I did.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna go drop in on his half pipe.
Prove it.
Next video is you in a full body cast.
Next video will be me in a full body cast.
On video.
To me, this is way less safe than a shark cage dive.
I'll take my phone out of my pocket. So basically, I said like, whilst we're here, this like,
Dodge that razor too. We can't move that.
yeah, it would be criminal not to at least try and drop in on the ramp. And if I fail, then they get a good laugh. And if I nail it, then I nailed it.
You gotta commit.
I gotta commit.
Drama.
You're no hero, so don't act like it.